Don in London, hello. It's July 30th, 2009. My video is all about life in recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. My substance, alcohol, my behaviour during those years of drinking, trying to find out who I was. I'm not succeeding very well on a daily basis. Never quite sure who I was or whether I was on the right track, job-wise, emotionally, spiritually or physically, because I was confused, and a great deal of that was entirely down to not understanding life at all, and that I have a choice in life, a choice to follow my path. For too often I would actually be involved in saying yes to projects, yes to work, yes to career, yes to a relationship, and doing my level best to perform rather than to enjoy and live and experience what is going on around me. And very often I was worried that I would not be good enough, so a lot of fear behind that. And these days I'm just learning how to be myself on a daily basis, to look at life through my eyes, with my outlook. And that sounds a bit selfish maybe, but sometimes I need to be a little bit selfish, but also take account of how I impact on others as well, how I care for people, how I cherish them, how I do not treat them indifferently or superficially. And what helps me most is being connected and included and loved, and in different arenas of my life, family, community, society and a fellowship, I find love. And the greatest gift really is to be able to love, be loved and have something useful to do. I think that's what Freud said. It's probably somebody else further down the centuries, but eventually we come down to some very basics, 3 elements: to love, be loved and have something useful to do, and to cherish people. So I guess a lot of my learning these days is about how do I cherish people in my life and stop being superficial or indifferent. And the greatest gift is sobriety. If I'm sober, I understand the deep of me, which means I can also contact and be in touch with the deep of other people as well, not on a superficial level, but on a very deep level, and that's about cherishing. So the gift of sobriety for me, one day at a time, is that I can get life on track and learn again every single day, something new, something useful, and something about me, I guess, and people, and what makes us tick. So I've had a couple of questions about the 12 steps. Where are those videos you did on what are the 12 steps of AA, Alcoholics Anonymous? I'll try and cover that very briefly in a moment. But what keeps me sober and on track is fellowship, so I can be a part of family, community and get professional help I need as well. And that fellowship is Alcoholics Anonymous. It's full of unique, authentic people, so I don't speak for them, and I certainly don't speak for AA or Alcoholics Anonymous, but I share my experience, strength and hope and how it works a day at a time. So what is AA? And at the beginning of every meeting in my video I share what is AA, with the AA preamble shared at every meeting, if you have a need to go to one. And it goes like this: Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And you know that final bit, excuse me, I'm just getting my coffee, that final bit about sobriety, I think that's what's behind my videos more than anything. And this is also my daily reflection on how I feel. So how am I feeling today? Confused about some issues, which is good. Okay on some other issues, which is good. And completely in the dark about other things, which is also good, because it means there's more to do. And I went to a fellowship meeting last night, down at the Hut, which is off the King's Road in Chelsea. 1 hour, hearing somebody share their experience, strength and hope. And it reminded me of all the elements of life which are important, which is simply to love, be loved, and have something useful to do. And as to understanding God, the gift is there are 6.5 billion people on the planet, and 6.5 billion people have different outlooks, or enough similarity to get along maybe, and understand God. But in the fellowship, as it says in the Daily Reflections or the other book I use, As Bill Sees It, it's not about having a conforming understanding of God, not as a group or fellowship. The most important part is that we have... Oh, dear me. Why do we get these messages from service providers when we don't want them? Anyway, the most important thing is we learn and understand what our understanding of God is for us personally. So for me, God is love, God is truth, God is open, honest and willing, and understanding that I'm no bigger, no smaller than anybody else. And I certainly don't understand God or define God. To do so is to really deny the higher power. I mean, I don't understand how the universe came about. Something to do with nature and providence. But, you know, the spirit of it is about good conscience and understanding what I can do and taking account of other people and their wisdom as I go along. So, daily reflections for today. I might not get to the 12 steps, sorry about that. It says giving back. He has struck something better than gold. He may not see it at once, that he has barely scratched a limitless load which will pay dividends if only he minds it for the rest of his life and insists on giving away the entire product, and that's sobriety. I'm not going to read the other bit because I want to talk about the 12 steps. I'll just do a little summary of how they work for me. So step 1 on a daily basis, I am powerless over alcohol, and if I take a drink it gets unmanageable. Step 2 is about being restored to sanity on a daily basis if I don't drink, and I think that's true. I don't know how sane I was even before I started drinking, but these days I have a bit of a grip on reality. Step 3, let go and let God, or let go and let good conscience. And it's not just my outlook which is important, it's the outlook of everybody around me and taking account of people. And step 4 is the fear less moral inventory of our assets and liabilities, done reasonably early in sobriety, or we are held back by our own imperceptions. And then step 5 is sharing our moral inventory, our assets and liability with another human being. We choose the human, hopefully, and then we work it out. And step 6, which was all the things I covered last month, is all about defects of character. And my defects are ego, fear, brave facing. And step 7, which is this month, is all about, for me, courage, faith and confidence to keep on going and understanding what is going on around me. Step 8 is all about making a list of people we have harmed and be willing to make amends. And that's 2 elements there, being willing and making the list. It's not about going and doing it, because that's step 9. And step 9 is simply is going and making amends where we can without doing harm to them or others, or even ourselves sometimes. So that's 9 steps. Then the 10th step is about daily inventory, assets, liabilities, situations ongoing. Step 11 is all about prayer and meditation and the benefit of it, even if we are agnostic or atheist, because routine and understanding where we are coming from and the level playing field which is best is where prayer and meditation really takes us into the 4th dimension. And step 12, you know what, is all about sharing a message of experience, strength and hope with other people. And for me, these videos sum it up very nicely, because if someone's out there with a problem, there is a solution, and we find our unique solutions within the fellowship. And as Bill sees it, let's keep it simple, it says today. You can read as many as you like of these, they're not dated. We need to distinguish sharply between spiritual simplicity and functional simplicity. When we say that AA advocates no theological proposition except God as we understand him, and that's as you or me, it's not a collective understanding, it's our personal understanding. We greatly simplify AA life by avoiding conflict and exclusiveness. So it's about inclusion, being a part of, and able to make good choices, and be loved. That's enough of that, really. Yes, it doesn't need to be qualified, actually. So little dips into the books today. But those 12 steps help me on a daily basis, and I can be pulling myself up sharply when I get it wrong. Or rather, I experience another life mistake, or a life learning opportunity, or a long learning opportunity, which is to understand one day works. And if I go too far into the future, I'm blinded by my lack of knowledge, and if I go too far back, history will hamper me and bog me down. So finally, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference is always just for today.